Happy Thursday, November 14th. This is Randy coming to you with another installment of the BMS Brief. Before I talk about the details, I just want to talk about the format of the brief, trying to take your input and use some text features, some headings to just differentiate what's important now, what can wait till later. So at the top of the brief, we just have some overarching things. Then I'm going to have must know and very helpful info for things that you really need to know sooner than later. Accountable for items are in yellow. And then these are things that I want you to be aware of that are coming up that I need your help thinking about. You need your input, but they're not immediate. They're not now. But, as I think about your input, this is a long, there's 18 things on this list. I can't see how this can become overwhelming. My goal is the brief is always there for you to refer to look back to for information. So I don't have to send multiple emails and things get forgotten and missed, which is still going to happen from time to time. There's no surefire way that we communicate everything perfectly 100% of the time, but we are trying to make sure that everybody is empowered through having the information. As always, our vision is that every child gets stronger in our school. We are working on our school priorities. And I want to celebrate. I wasn't here on Monday, but I heard the veterans ceremony was fantastic. So important that our school honors our veterans. Love that. And I want to celebrate just, the strength of our culture in our building. It goes up and down as in all schools, but the reality is we have a lot of teachers that are providing input, and input is incredibly valuable. One of the most valuable things we can have as a school leader. It's one of the most valuable things that I can get from teachers, and I love it. So just criticism deflates, but solution-focused feedback energizes. So thank you all. Here's the must-know and very helpful info. Dress code, we talked about that. Shout out to Miss Downs. She actually found the actual district policy, which is linked here. But hoodies and even actually the mock collars and mock turtles are actually allowed in the policy. So we said that we weren't going to worry about those right now, and that's fine. I'll be sending that one call out to families. Thanks to Miss Miller, her input about having a hard time finding all different links. Nick is working on a blog that's a one-stop shop. It's in progress right now. He is adding to it. You can send him feedback on things to add. That's something you could bookmark in your browser and access that to find all those things that you use on a daily basis. Principal's test is here. It's due on Friday. That's been something in the brief before, so that shouldn't be any surprise to you, but it's just a friendly reminder. Share it with me in Google Drive. The schedule is there. I'm going to go in the next few minutes. I need to work on pushing that start time back to around 8:40. I just realized I hadn't done that yet, but I need your feedback on the schedule, and I'm also collaborating with the Gifted Minds team on a accommodations list for our 504 and IEP students. Promotion support team. This is something that may not be lingo you're familiar with, but by site-based policy, we have to have a promotion support team for students who are at risk of failing. Here's a link to the policy. As stated, it's hold students more accountable by being more flexible, if that makes sense. Students can get passed to the next grade level, but if they failed a core content class, then they have to repeat that and lose an elective. If students fail enrichment courses, they have to attend summer school and to make up that credit as well. So there's the policy. You can look at that. Here's the list of students. It's a PDF in our Google Drive, a list of students with failing grades. My plan is tomorrow morning during Care Connect. I'm not going to say why, but I'm going to announce these students' names. They need to stay and speak with me about their grades. And I'm going to be sending a letter home to them and their families with the policy and letting them know they had failing grades and that they need to work on their grades coming up this quarter and the next 2 quarters so they are not at risk of failing. What I need from you all is through your Care and Connect and through grade level teachers, especially those teachers whose students they failed your class first quarter, continue coaching them, giving them feedback, contacting home if they're not working, using SRT. The students sitting in your class failing and they're not working, call us into action and let us help you out with that. We need to hold students accountable. So I didn't mark that yellow for accountable for because you don't have anything that you have to turn in or do, but I need your help with that. The promotion support team policy, actually lists grade level teachers, that kind of stuff. This is something that it's new. that I'm doing for the first time. So continue giving me your input. Right now, I'm not going to require a formal sit-down meeting, but I am going to ask grade level teams to collaborate with enrichment teachers for the students on that list to make sure that you're having conversations with them and that our Care and Connect leaders are getting involved. I'll do my part with sending those letters home and meeting with those students. Following up with that, midterms for quarter 2 are going home next week. Post grades to midterm on Monday, November 18th. Winter Pride games that are coming up. Check your email from Miss Bergen. She sent some info out. The question is, how will you be involved? What will be your contribution? You can't do everything. There's a 5K, there's a Bardstown parade, a Bloomfield parade, and that same week we have a dance. So that dance is basically taken care of. Mr. Gazio's supervising that with Miss Averett. I will be helping with the Bardstown and the Bloomfield parades. We got the 5K. Nobody's expected to do everything, but everybody's expected to do something. So please be involved. That truly is, it's taking pride in your involvement and your contribution. Care and Connect plans. Alyssa's working to provide clarity on that. She sent out information today. Please review that. MAP testing is next week. You don't really have to do anything if you're not a math or language arts teacher, but please be sure that kids are being quiet in the hallways and that we are creating an environment where students can focus. Those tests are just being given in class. You know me, I value assessment because it can tell us things about students, but I don't value testing kids if we don't really get good feedback from that. So we've decided together that we're not going to do the language mechanics tests because we're getting better feedback on language mechanics through our live writing and what our teachers are already doing in classrooms through writing exercises. Those language mechanics skills are very important, but I today couldn't sit down as an adult and tell you all the rules and all those things. I just practice it in my writing, and we that's what our goal is for our students, that they can put it into action. So we're not going to give that test because we don't value tests. We value assessing for learning and giving feedback. So that's some things that you're accountable for that are happening right now. Here's some things on the horizon I'd like you to be aware of. First, I talk about it's important for kids to gain expertise and content knowledge, and I value in-class goal clarity, focus, but I also value project-based experiences, field trips, those things. And so eighth graders, the plan is they're going to DC. Thank you, Ms. Pierce. The great work happening there, and the teachers, other eighth grade teachers are going to be leading what we're calling a Kentucky Blitz for field trips, a series of field trips that are going to be happening here in Kentucky. What I would also like to ask our 7th and 6th grade teams to start the discussions is, I want you to create a field trip experience at 7th and 6th grade. Obviously, we'll need to talk and make sure that we're not doing the same thing during the Kentucky Blitz or there's overlap, but we need to create these benchmark experiences in our schools, and I'm going to support that with a budget. I'm going to subsidize your trip at $10 per student per grade. That doesn't mean that students wouldn't have to also pitch in some as well if the trip is a little bit beyond that price, but I want to help subsidize the cost of it so that students can go have great experiences every single year. So 6th grade, 7th grade, I'd like you to come up with a field trip experience that you take your entire grade on. It could be something that infuses all your content areas. It could be something important to our Kentucky culture and history. And it'll be something that is a benchmark experience that you'll want to continue on year to year. And we create this sequence of experiences from 6th to 8th grade. So let's just start the conversations on that. And we'll try to have those happen next half of the year. Enrichment course offerings are being created by our awesome enrichment team. Our goal is Alyssa's getting some training with another counselor to look at doing those offerings online. Our goal is that those go live December 5th. So the last few weeks of school before winter break, our students are signing up for new enrichments for the second half of the year. Item number 14 is really, really important to me and to you. You've heard of parent-teacher organizations, PTSA. We have a group of parents who are forming that in our school, and they've titled that Bloomfield Community in Action, or Bloomfield CI. BCA. I'm running out of time. I'm going to add a second video. There's a lot going on right now, so I will finish up 1 second.